Welcome to the Crypto Compound. Today we will be talking about Helium, the People's Network. It is a cryptocurrency that is revolutionizing the decentralized wireless infrastructure space. We do not think that it's been getting enough recognition lately for what they've been doing. It is currently mineable, stakeable, and usable. It has some serious backers and a very impressive roadmap that might look similar to another top 5 cryptocurrency we're all very familiar with. Let's see what's fueled its almost 10x rise since the end of last year, and if it has what it takes to stick around. Welcome to the inaugural video here. We will be talking about Helium today, and I would presume a lot more in the future. So we're starting off here. Obviously, there is a ton to talk about. I am just going to touch on a few things in this video, and we'll dig deeper in further videos. Of course, if you have any questions or want me to dig into any particular piece deeper, just leave a note in the comments below and I will do my best. But as you can see, we've started here on their homepage. Of course, like most other cryptocurrencies, they have a good looking website here. Now, I don't say that as a compliment, because look, if you've made the effort of creating a cryptocurrency and it's been doing well at all, I'm sure you could pay a few $1,000s to a web developer to make you a nice fancy website. The difference between Helium and some of these other cryptocurrencies that people are pushing and getting behind is that Helium actually works. There's actually a working network. Their incentives are aligned between the investors, the users, and commercial businesses. It is far beyond a lot of these other projects. I wouldn't even call Helium a project at this point, but because they have proved themselves, and they have come through over the years with what they have been saying they would be doing. So let's start here on their homepage. Of course, here it is. It's nice and pretty. As we go down here, we see the network is live. We can see these numbers are updated on a regular basis. To give you an idea, this number was around 2,000 a year ago. The Helium has been working with third-party manufacturers to create miners that people are able to buy at a relatively cheap price, or at least inexpensive compared to what people would normally consider with, for example, Bitcoin mining. It is nowhere near that cost intensive or energy intensive. The cost of a miner is somewhere around $300, and it uses no more electricity than most computers. And that is part of the beauty of what Helium is doing, is they're creating this network through the users, and they're incentivizing the users to use this network. You could come back to this page on a daily basis and you can see it update. If we go down a little bit more, sorry about that. There's a network map here that we'll get to later. We could spend an hour in there. Of course, here you can see some of their miners that are available. There used to only be a few. Now there are multiple companies, third-party companies, creating these miners, because there is a much larger demand than there used to be. To give you an idea, my miner is back ordered currently. Hopefully it's here the next few weeks. I ordered it about a month or two ago. But that just gives you an idea of the growth of this network, and that these third-party manufacturers are committing the capital to creating these miners, knowing that the demand is there, and they've done their due diligence. They expect the demand to be there in the future, which is very promising. Here's a little bit of a use case. And of course, there are hundreds of companies and people currently using and providing access to the network. As you can see here, it mentions LongFi. That is something that a proprietary piece of Helium's technology that they've leveraged a blockchain network with, which which provides connectivity amongst the Internet of Things devices with very little cost, and it's extremely efficient as compared to connecting it directly to a modem. Here are some of the users, and I'll make note here. You could see it says Salesforce is used by, and you see Salesforce. That is interesting in and of itself. However, if we scroll down here, here's just a few of the core technologies. They're investors. Now, remember, Salesforce is a user. You come down here, and we see one of their main investors is Mark Bainoff. This is very interesting because, look, the reality of a lot of these crypto websites and their investment section is that, of course, you're going to get people like SV Angel, Multicoin Capital investing in a lot of these startups. Because that is what they do. They're here playing the lottery, trying to snatch up a coin that ends up surviving a few years and making its way into the top 20 market cap, in which case they make off like bandits. And that's the business they're in. I mean, it's literally Multicoin Capital. A lot of these people just cherry pick different cryptocurrencies that are very small that are just starting up, and they hope for the best. When you see people like Google Ventures here and Mark Bainoff, that raises that tells me a little bit more than if I'm just seeing Multicoin Capital. Someone like Mark Bainoff, of course, they're doing their due diligence, but they're also here using it. And there is a testimonial on Salesforce somewhere on this website. It's a very extensive website. We'll have to get to it at some point, but you can see that they're using it and they're an investor. That is a very promising sign, because look, the reality is it's very easy for Multicoin Capital to give a company $20 million and get their name on the website and hope for the best with their fingers crossed. But it's something else for someone like Mark Bainoff to himself have his fund invest in it and also be using it in Salesforce. Now there are a few other tabs on this website that I would like to touch on in this video. The next piece here that we're going to touch on in this video, a very brief overview. We'll dig deeper. Like most other cryptocurrencies, there is a roadmap section to their website. It is very organized. It is split up into core coverage and use. And we're going to just scroll through it now and just take a look and make note of a few things. The first thing I will mention is it seems like you wouldn't normally have to mention this, but if you look at other roadmaps of other cryptocurrencies, even ones in the top 100 by market cap, you will not see dates. Notice here it says 2021. Last year it said 2020, and if we scroll down, we could even see it split up into Q1, Q2, and H2 goals for each of these core coverage and use, and inside of each of those, there's also different pieces. But I'd just like to mention that because, of course, it's pretty easy to set up a roadmap on a website, but to actually have it updated and be relevant, and be true to what's actually happening is, as crazy as it sounds, is rather unique. I will make note that this is, those who are familiar with Cardano, if we go over here to the Cardano roadmap on their website, it is very similar. I've been on this Cardano roadmap now probably for the first time around 2017, and it is very extensive. You could click into each of these pieces and you'll see that they're updated with features and dates and all sorts of things, which is a great sign. And Cardano is a very successful cryptocurrency. That's why they have risen to where they are, because they're doing the things that they say they will do, and it is of great use, and it works. So I'd just like to make note of that. But if we look here back at Helium, we could click on core, and there are different pieces here. They're working on validators, proof of coverage, and blockchain. They'll tell you a little bit about it. They will tell you exact goals, which is rather interesting. And I'm sure in a week or two, this Q1 section will be gone, and it'll be Q2 and Q3 and Q4 maybe, or just Q2 and H2. But I would bet money that this will be updated in the next few weeks once Q1 is over. And that is it's good to see. These are real projects. These are really happening. Just to give you an idea with the hotspot piece here, the hotspot and where's the wallet piece? There is a wallet piece here. I'm not sure where it is. Sorry, give me a second. So on the coverage on the wallet, I mean, to give you an idea, this wallet is a wallet that I have downloaded from the App Store on my phone, and it is where I store my HNT, and it is where I could send and receive HNT. So these are past just ideas. They are implemented, they are working, and they are constantly being improved. As far as I'm concerned, the wallet I've had zero issues with it. It is very intuitive, it is very clean, it is fast, and it works. I can show you here now. I'll have a separate video on how I actually purchased my HNT directly and sent it to my wallet because I don't use Binance. And right now, if you're in the United States, Binance is really the only place to buy HNT from an exchange. But I managed to purchase it, and I will show you how I did that in a later video. And I was able to send it directly to my wallet and keep it there with my private keys and keep track of them there. Now, keep in mind, if you do have a hotspot, that hotspot will also connect directly to your wallet, and you can monitor your HNT awards on an ongoing basis. And we scroll down, there's some tabs, some mappers, goals. It's great stuff. Use, console, blockchain applications, wireless protocols. You can see here there's, even the relevant links here are just other rabbit holes that you can dig down. We're not going to get to all of this in this video. I just wanted to give you guys an idea of the roadmap, and I also wanted to draw some parallels to what we have here with Cardano, as I do think it does remind me a lot of Cardano, at least the roadmap and how these projects are evolving, and they're constantly growing and changing and improving. Even like I said, even just the date here is something you don't see on every roadmap, which is surprising. But actually, I shouldn't say it's surprising. It's scary that a lot of them don't have relevant dates, or they're outdated and they haven't been updated in a year. This stuff is constantly growing and improving, and it's makes you feel a lot better if it's something that you want to get involved in. You want to commit some capital to, maybe buy a router or just buy some HNT directly. This is a great place to start to see what they're doing and all that. Let's dig in a little bit to the map quickly. Here. So I just had my afternoon coffee, so I might sound a little bit louder. That is because I just had my coffee. So if we look here, and also it's interesting because I just took about 5 minutes to go make my coffee. And I believe I could go back and look, but I'm not going to do that right now. But I believe that the number that we saw on the previous screen was 23,773 or 75. And now a few minutes later, it's 23,780. Very interesting. Very interesting. The point being, this network is growing by the minute. If we look here at the United States, obviously we can see the coverage. We're going to dig in deeper. Let's go over here to California. Of course, all the larger cities, there's more coverage than these more urban. Than where the cities are not. Sorry, I'm at a loss for words. But if we dig in here, we can see now. Look, if you're somebody who has a Helium miner, HNT miner, I'm sure you're familiar with this page, and you realize that you could actually go in here, find your miner, and anyone could go in here and find anyone's miner and look at the the actual details of that miner and who it's connected with and how it's earning HNT and the connections it's making. It's very, very impressive. And of course, they all get these cool, funny names. And at first, I thought that people were making these, and I thought, wow, everyone's so much more creative than I am. But these are actually given to people, which I think is cool. I'm excited to see what my hotspot name will be. Maybe I'll make a short version of it, my license plate one day. So here we have Clean Leather Stallion. If this is you, email me or message me or comment below and prove it, and I will send you 10 HNT. So if we click here and we go to view hotspot details, you'll see that we can see just about everything that's going on with this hotspot. We can see where it is, we can see the address, we can see it's synced. We can see stuff like the rewards. This is very interesting stuff. It's very sophisticated stuff for a currency that is just teetering on the top 100 market cap list. I mean, this is real stuff here. We can see the rewards in 24 hours, rewards in 30 days, and the rewards in 1 year. I believe that the current price of HNT is somewhere around $8.80 at the recording of this video. If I do some quick math at $8.80 times 6264, it's a little bit over $55,000 that this hotspot has mined over the past year at today's level. And just a day or two ago, it was just touching 10. So that's 62,000 something dollars. That's real money. And this miner was probably purchased. I will mention that the miners do go up in price, but a year ago, a rack miner could have been purchased for, I think, $275. And you're adding to the network, you're providing coverage. I mean, this is pretty brilliant stuff. You could see the witnesses. They call them witnesses when two miners sort of connect with each other or interact with each other and can confirm and validate that the other is there. It's sort of how it builds this trustless network. You can see nearby hotspots. You can see the activity. I mean, it's very impressive. And here you can see where it's connected. And here's an example of the long range connectivity. I mean, look, I'm no expert, but it's doing something with these nodes, it's just great to see. Yeah, I mean, you could sit here all day and go from node to node, hotspot to hotspot. It's very interesting. We're gonna touch on some price activity before the end of this video, just very briefly. Obviously, there's not even much history because it was only a few weeks worth of history since it was listed. But let's get into that. Here we are on the charts. We're looking at HNT Tether US on the daily for Binance. As you can see, this is all of the history we have. It started end of September. This is the daily, and this is what we're looking at and what we're working with. Give you a little background on how I like to think about this. Look, I know that there are some people on YouTube and some people that'll look at these coins and they'll pump them and they'll sell them. Don't care what they do, if they're going to be around in 5 years or not. But that's sort of not how I think about these things. And those, that's not how I think long term. Is this thing going to be around in 5-10 years? Is it going to have a use case? How's that going to work? So, I mean, I see people breaking down the hourly chart on this thing, and it doesn't make any sense to me. I'll look at the daily, I'll look at the 4 hour sometimes, and I'll look at the weekly to give me an idea of where this thing's going. To be honest, right now, I mean, I think this is just price discovery mode. I don't think there's much to do here. I saw somebody draw a Fibonacci line from this low to this high and talk about the 618 somewhere. Look, I don't think we're there. I think the market cap is too small. There aren't enough market participants for this to be fractal yet. That's just not what we're looking at right now. This is just vomit. I mean, it's just there's no rhyme or reason. There's no history. Again, this is the daily. Like I said, I like to look at the weekly. I mean, the 21 EMA on the weekly chart is my favorite line to look at. You can see throughout history all sorts of cryptos and stocks and equities, all touching, coming back and pulling back and touching the 21 EMA. You can see here, I mean, the line just started and we haven't even touched it. I mean, this thing is just rocket shipped up there. And of course, it's going to come down and touch it at some point. I don't know if that's going to be in 2 weeks, a month, 4 months, but at some point it's going to touch this line. That might be, who knows what dollar range that'll be. This thing can keep moving up until the 20s, 30s, 40s before it calms down. Who knows? But look, my point is, I don't think there's much to do here with this chart right now. To give you an idea, here's the weekly. Like I said, we're looking at the 21 EMA. That's the line right there. If we go to, you guys are going to think I'm crazy, but if we go to Bitcoin and we go to there, this is 2012, 2011, 2012. This is the beginning of the Bitcoin chart. If you just go all the way back and zoom in, we're here in the $10 range. Wouldn't that be nice to be looking at this real time? But I did this as an example. So this is the beginning of the Bitcoin line. We were just looking at the beginning of the HNT line. And what I'm trying to show is, look, Bitcoin actually started off underneath the 21 EMA and actually shot up. And you could see here in the very beginning, there was a touch here and there was a touch here. Very interesting. It broke through, shot up, and this is an info line here. There's 9 bars, which means there's 9 weeks of it not going and touching this 21 EMA. But then you could see right here, it taps it. That's why I love this 21 EMA so much. It always comes back and nicks it, as you can see. And then we look here, touches it, all the way up, comes back down. This is 10 weeks later. It's just 9 weeks, 10 weeks, 63 days, 70 days. It's very interesting to see this chart. No one is going to take you here and look at this, but it gives you an idea. Now, this thing has run crazy far. And look, don't get me wrong, I have very, very high expectations for the price of HNT over the course of the next few years. However, I do think it's going to come back and touch this line at some point. I don't know if that's going to be next week or if it's going to be in 5 weeks. But it'll happen at some point, just like Bitcoin does every time. It's just good to see this to give you some reference points. Of course, this 9-week and 10-week space between here is just for entertainment purposes. Really, it's just to give you an idea, and to give me an idea. I mean, I need to think about this somehow, and that's sort of how I do it. And you have to remember, the market cap here is so small. It's not trading on a lot of platforms. There aren't that many participants, so it's very illiquid. Well, I wouldn't say it's very illiquid, but it's easy to, someone could come in and boost this thing up to $15 overnight, and someone could come crash it to $4. So it's going to be interesting. We're going to keep an eye on this chart and see how it evolves on this channel. But it's just very interesting to see. We actually almost even touched it here, which would have been nice if we got a little touch there. But I just wanted to point that out. And of course, I'm not going to go on a daily chart or a 4-hour chart and start drawing Fibonacci lines here. I mean, there's just not enough data, in my opinion. But yeah, that's really it. This is not the end for the helium videos. There's going to be a very popular topic here on this channel. We are going to be tracking it. The goal here is to track it until it's a top 10 crypto. That is the goal. That is the mission. We are going to stay the course. If you want to join on and follow along, please subscribe. Please like the video. As you know, YouTube does try and gatekeep some of this content from its viewers. So please hit the bell notification, comment below, let me know what I could do better. Of course, this is my first video, so some constructive criticism would also be welcome. I have some thick skin, I can take it. Thanks for being here. See you next video.